It's very simple. DOGE is going to save potentially trillions of dollars over the next couple of years. Let's take 20% of that money and send it right back to the hardworking Americans who sent it to D.C. in the first place, the taxpayers. They didn't send it to D.C. to be wasted, to be defrauded or abused. It was their money. We're sending it back as a refund. There are two key benefits to this, first of which is restitution. Second of which, as the president noted on Air Force One last week, let's incentivize Americans to be part of this government efficiency process. They can be our eyes and ears on the ground to report waste, fraud, and abuse. Why? Because the more that DOGE saves, the bigger the DOGE dividend check will be in the end.
If you send out $5,000 checks, wouldn't that be inflationary, which many Republicans have accused of the stimulus checks we saw under the Biden administration of being?
For the first point, there was $6 trillion spent on COVID in stimulus. Only 13% of that was stimulus checks. Now remember, under COVID, again, massive supply chain dislocations. Look at what's happening under President Trump and Secretary Bessent's leadership. Drill, baby, drill means lower inflation, lower gas prices, lower oil prices. We're seeing inflation come off, not necessarily last month or next month, but that's the bigger picture. The macro backdrop was disastrous for stimulus during President Biden. It's very favorable today. And when we ask folks, how would they spend these DOGE dividend checks, what do most folks tell us? They're going to use it to pay down debt. The only debt, it seems like in the mainstream media these days that folks care about, is the national debt. Consumer debt went up by more than 25% under President Biden. Why? They needed to borrow to keep up with inflation, to keep up with bad policy. Americans deserve a DOGE dividend to be able to pay off their own debt that President Biden forced them into.